Hello, Naps. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Jocelyn. I'm super excited to have you here because it's spooky season. I'm so excited. Oh, spooky season is my favorite. And if you don't know what spooky season is, it is the lovely season of Halloween with all the fantastic, creepy, fun, makeup-y SFX things. For Halloween, most YouTubers go really crazy and they do giant full faces of stuff. And I'm not quite there yet, but I am gonna do some basics, including we're gonna have some fun with latex and oatmeal. It's gonna be some good burn looks today. So let's get started. First of all, things you should know about latex. A, small amounts are your friend. B, watch your hair. Eyebrows, like chinny chin baby hairs, the lovely mustache that we all have lately. Latex will find it, it will catch it, and then you will be in pain. Now, there are ways to take latex off safely that don't involve ripping it off. Using micellar water is nice, but if you're doing it one time and you just want to rip it off, just be really careful around the hair. Usually in my YouTube videos, I also go through and talk about some sort of psychological thing or like philosophy thing. But today, because it's just a basic educational video, I'm not going to be talking about that. So, I guess it's time to get started. You're going to need a makeup sponge. You're going to need liquid latex. I have Spirit brand, which is okay. It works. Just do really thin layers. You're going to need some oatmeal. You want something to color it. So I'm going to be using Bruise Wheel from Ben Nye for that. And I also have a metal palette and a metal little spatula thing. I don't know if I'm going to end up using the metal spatula thing. We'll see. But it's here in case we need it. Latex doesn't really stick too well to metal. So that's the benefit of using metal items. Your makeup sponges can be picked up at any old dollar store type place. So let's start. First of all, anytime you're doing SFX stuff, you want to know what the story is behind your SFX look. Were you burned? Were you slashed? How were you burned? How were you slashed? Was it from somebody else? Was it an accident? Was somebody throwing boiling oil on you? I don't know. This is one that's super crusty, super crazy. I don't know how realistic it is, but it's really fun and it looks fun. It looks so fantastic. Take a little dollop of the latex and I'm gonna pour it on my metal palette and I'm gonna kind of dab my sponge in it. I'm gonna use this side of my face here because this side has more hair on it and I really am worried about getting stuff in my hair. We're gonna have it be over here. This is gonna be like we were in some sort of thing. We didn't cover this part of our face. Maybe we covered like that. We're gonna do our thin layers, right? You can kind of see it happening. So once you start getting your base level gunk on there, you can also start adding in your oatmeal. Pack it on my face, get it all over the floor, make a mess, because it's Halloween and I feel like it. Then you're gonna go back over it with a light layer of latex. If you have a latex allergy, do not use liquid latex. Just a suggestion. There are other things you can use, like I'm pretty sure you can use, was it like a gelatin mix? You wanna double check your edges aren't super harsh either. It's the tough part. Make sure everything is sticking. If you want skin that looks like it's falling off, that is a look as well. Gonna add some more on there. Basically now, you're gonna wait a little bit until it dries. You don't wanna add too much, otherwise it takes forever to dry. And the more layers you put on, the longer it takes to dry. So your best bet, literally the quickest way, is to wait, which I know is counterintuitive. Because I am an impatient human, I decided to go down my neck a little bit more, and this way you could also see the difference between the mostly dry stuff and then the stuff that I had just coated right there. So see, this one has a little bit more of like a white. Wait till it's dry and then layer until it is appropriately coated. I'm gonna try like, I think 3 layers. In case you're new to my channel, I did do another video using liquid latex. You can find it here. It was Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender's scar makeup. It was filmed on the correct side of the face, but I forgot that selfie mode flips the image so it doesn't look like it's on the right side of the face, but I promise it was. But that was with a combo of liquid latex and toilet paper. So you, depending on what element you mix into the liquid latex, you can get a whole slew of different effects, and some of them can be really, really cool. Highly suggest. Also be very careful if you have the liquid latex on a bendy area, like right now I have it on my neck, which is obviously, if I bend my face, I'm gonna like smush that part. While it's dry and naked, do not let the sides touch, because otherwise you're just gonna end up with more problems, and then you're gonna have to fix that. And then next thing you know, you're gonna end up pulling it all off and starting it over. This definitely hasn't happened to me before, until it is all dry and powdered and will not stick to itself, as it will. All the time. I am not a professional. I just share what I know, and that's about it. And then sometimes I look up other stuff that other people know. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ding the notification bell, leave a comment on what you think about this. Let me know if there's a thing you want me to talk about or a makeup that you want me to do. All the good stuff. I'm going through and making sure that the edges of the liquid latex are not super, super crazy looking. So I'm just trying to take off extra latex. In theory, I should be doing this with a sponge, but I don't want to get a second sponge out, so I've got perfectly good tools here for that. Make sure if you are using your fingers though, remove excess latex before like going in and dabbing, because otherwise that latex will stick to that latex and then it'll get stuck in there and then it'll start pulling up stuff that's dry and it's a bad time. It's a bad time all around. I've got the Nye Neutral set, and it is supposed to be colorless. Sometimes it can make it a little bit whiter, but I'm gonna tap it out. It's snowing. Too early for that. We're not at Christmas yet, ya Christmas crazies. I mean that in like there are people who want Christmas way before Halloween now, and it makes me sad. It's not cocaine, it's setting powder. Go ahead and get your brush ready, and when this puppy dries after all the layers you put on it, then you get to powder that sucker up. Sometimes you gotta sing a little bit and have fun with this, right? By the way, I am super proud because look at this bat liner. Yeah, it only took me like 7 tries to get it. And the hook works really well. You see the hook? It works really well because it's just like the normal eyeliner trick for hooded eyes. Yeah, buddy. Okay, I was definitely impatient on like the second layer on my face because it's mostly dry. Like the top layer is pretty much dry. Yeah, there's the under layer is still wet here, but the top layer I don't think is. I'm gonna powder now. You can use like a powder puff. I am using a brush because there's all sorts of nooks and crannies in here that I want to get. We are more or less prepping for the painting. And the painting is what's going to take this from I plastered oatmeal to my face to a good old-fashioned, gross, crusty burn look. I like to think of it like it gives the effect of lava a little bit when you have that crusty over top layer and then you have like the lava underneath, except for it's like charred flesh. Good time. Make sure you brush off any extra. Yeah, it takes away a little bit of the extra shine too, so now it's kind of a little bit more neutral. And you can use like your latex sponges for this part. You can use a stipple sponge. You can use a sea sponge, but next we're gonna start adding our color. You can also use brushes too. Actually, a brush is probably a good start. I'm gonna use this one. It's not the best because ideally I would want one that's a little tighter on the bristles, but alas, that's not what I got going today. Break out your colors. These are cream paints, so they will need to be set afterwards. And I'm gonna dip into the red, and I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna get all of the low points. This can be a messy cover. You're gonna paint over top of it anyway. I'm telling you, it looks like a lava monster. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this pink here, this light pink, and I'm gonna go around on the edges, and I am just gonna fade out some of that color a little bit. Because you want the skin to look irritated, but you don't want there to be like as harsh of a line as there is currently. Also, it's supposed to be a burn, not like a cut, so you're gonna have skin irritation all around. And right now the red looks a little bit bloody, but we're gonna fix that. Cool, now you see we've got a much better fade there. The lines look a little less harsh. So we can go in with an even smaller brush and we can deepen up those really deep areas. I'm going to be using this dark blue here. Yeah. And I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna make some real deep shadow with it and probably go in a little bit with that purpley shade too. And we want to see where all the highs and lows are. So here I've darkened up a lot of those dark areas, those shadowed areas, so it gives it a lot more dimension. Now we're going to go over this top zone here. So I'm going to take our sponge from earlier, and for this one I think I am going to use the blue because I'm going to go over it with some charcoal powder, which is from Nye, so it's going to be dark anyway because I want this to look like burnished bits. And so for this, I only want to hit the high points. So I'm just going to go over, I'm not going to try and get any detail, I'm just going to more or less brush the top of it. Try not to get the edges of your face because you just want the areas that are like the most burned. This also allows you to see areas that you may not have realized were high points or low points. So you can see that there's a lot of stuff in here that's still white that I got to go back and color. So this kind of gives you a little bit better idea of detail as well. And again, you got to be careful over the edges because there's nothing catching it. So we are here now. Now with this kind of burn, the likelihood that it was like an all-encompassing fire is slim. This is probably like, I don't know, pressed down to a grill situation, because if you're in like a house fire, it's almost like a melting of skin. It's gross. But yeah, so this is high impact, short, medium term heat, I would say, if I'm guessing. Again, not a professional, don't know much about burn stuff. So here we go with color. Right now, if you're just going out for like an hour or two, or if you're just passing out candy and you don't really want to set it, that's up to you. Setting it is helpful if you feel like you're going to touch it at all, because you do not want it to go all over the place, get on your hands, and then just get into a bunch of trouble and mischief. Because right now that will be the case. Like, it immediately comes off. It doesn't like dry or set on its own. So translucent powder, there is a way to bring back some of the vibrancy, so don't worry. Again, brushing off all our excess. So you can see it did mute the colors a little bit, but that's okay. I'm also gonna go in and I'm gonna dust some charcoal powder on it as well. It is just a black powder. And I'm gonna get some like dirt and grime and gunk in there. And this one I gotta be careful with too. This one you don't want everywhere, you just want on your burned flesh pieces. So it's not like you use as big a brush as you do when you use the full thing. Also, I think I kind of messed up that part. Definitely kind of messed up that part. So now you have lots of stuff. Halloween, man. All right, here we go. So now I'm gonna use some setting spray. Nye Final Seal is really good if you have a really long day, a really long night wearing your makeup. But otherwise, normal setting spray will bring back the color and do a good job. It will glisten for a little bit until it dries, and then it gets a little bit more matte. And if you're like me and you go a little heavy-handed with the charcoal powder, you can go back through and you can pop out some of those low points with some more red. It's really up to you how you play with it. And then the last thing, the glorious thing. It's a bunch of different types of blood is the thing. Different blood looks good in different areas. Scab blood, fresh scab might be appropriate for this. A little bit more, I don't know how freshly bloody it would be and drippy. So this is like, where I put it, it's gonna stay. And I'm just gonna use it to go in there and highlight some of those areas, make it a little glisteny and and darkened stuff, but you feel free to put it wherever you want. Just note, it's gonna cover up some of your work. That is not an excuse to not do the work. That's just to say, don't go crazy with it and put it all over, because otherwise, why did you do the rest of the work? That doesn't make any sense. Ah, and here we are. Here you go. This is all the lovely, gory oatmeal burn for your Halloween hunting times. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy this? Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and check out some other videos that'll pop up at the end. Or just go to my channel and look it up there. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this, and I hope you guys did as well. Alright, naps. I hope you have a lovely day. Happy October. I will see you next Thursday for another video. Alright, bye.